Huh. One day I asked my master that people criticize me a lot. So he laughed at me and he said, keep on doing what you are doing. It really means that you are doing something. That is why the people criticize you. If you do nothing, then how the people know that what you are doing is right or wrong? Why I said this, when you do the practice regularly, your mind complains you. Your mind constantly complains you. You will not get anything. Keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. Never leave the practice. Never leave the contemplation and reflection. And ultimately, your mind will remove all the impurities and it will be clear. That is the way this Eastern wisdom works. I'll pick up the last session and the verse, and then I will go to the next verse. We have understood in the last 2 weeks logic, reasoning, and experience. You reason out anything, find out the cause and effect relationship. But if it is not translated into an experience, if it is not translated into an experience, means knowledge and experience should go together. Reasoning and experience should go together. If they don't go together, have you seen? That's the problem of divorce. That's the problem of unending fight. My experience is not according to the reasoning. Do you see that my experience is not according to the reasoning? And that's why we have a fight. That's why we have a problem. So it means what? I'm putting a wrong logic. I should go back, analyze the reasoning, find out the cause and effect. And if the cause and effect results into an experience of the calmness, it is the right logic. I told you in the very beginning, my master, when I told him people criticize me, they said, it means you are doing something. That's why they criticize you. If you do nothing, why the people will criticize you? Now apply the same logic. If you are doing the practice regularly, your mind will complain. Oh, you are not getting anything. Keep on doing it. That is the journey of the Eastern wisdom. Another point is very important. I am relating it to the reasoning. In this journey of awakening, there is no proxy. There is no proxy. Cooking food, someone else can cook your food. Driving a car, someone else, chauffeur-driven car. Managing finances, you can appoint an accountant to handle all your finances. Taking a class, you can hire someone to attend a class for you. I do not have money, you can give me the money, but you cannot go to the restroom, eat for me, there is no proxy. Eating food, gaining knowledge, there cannot be any proxy. Feeling emotions, there cannot be any proxy. Self-inquiry, there cannot be any proxy. Attaining self-knowledge, someone can point the way but cannot realize it. Understand, my friend. It's very important. Freedom from the suffering, you cannot have a proxy. We cannot have a proxy for freedom and suffering. Put it into your head. You should be very clear about it. You wake up in the morning and mind says, oh, meditation. Oh, let me have a cup of tea and then And then once you have a tea, you go out, oh, what a good weather. You forget it. It will not work. Now see what happens with the reasoning. Where there is a proxy, manipulation is possible. No proxy, no manipulation. Remember this. Put it into your mind and head. Someday I wake up in the morning and mind says, oh, today, why don't you relax? I said, my practice is relaxation. And I tell my mind, close your eyes, sit down. Pay attention. I'm just talking about the reasoning. If the reasoning does not bring an experience, that logic, that reasoning is false. I have to get rid of it. No, I have to pick up my friend at 6 a.m. in the morning, and exactly at 6, I practice meditation. I should practice at 5. I receive a lot of emails suggesting that, I've been very busy, or I have an extreme headache, or hundreds of excuses. It will not work. If your aim is to realize this self, if your aim is to relax, you can, okay, that's not a problem. Just to relax, return again to the anxiety and a problem. You see the logic? We are living 99% logic, which is impulsive, which is instinctive, which is habitual. The intellect has no role to play. The mind has taken over the intellect. And that is why we are suffering. Once you listen again and again, you will get it. It takes time. So that is the reason our masters are saying we need a purification of the mind. This mind puts the logic which appears very good, very true, very promising. Do you think that, I have an extreme headache and I should practice? Very sound logic. It is the false logic. If you practice, you will get out of the headache. And I have hundreds of people who shared their experiences. In the beginning, I had body ache and physic and a headache, and then I did the practice, and now I don't feel that. Hundreds and thousands of the people have shared it. But my mind puts the wrong logic and it goes after it. I don't have money, don't pay the money. Are you practicing regularly? No. See that? So what happens? Once I'm clear, regular practice is required. There are things that we need to follow strictly to keep the mind pure, calm, relaxed. There are things we must do. And the journey to the self-discovery must be done every day. In the beginning, you see that you don't get any reward. I'm putting everything in a logic. But if we don't do, we are punished. That is you have to understand that very clearly. I give you hundreds of examples like that. If I do it regularly in the very beginning for a couple of weeks and the months, I feel that I'm not getting anything. But if you skip one day, you will be punished. Why? Because your mind has to start again from the start. Why? Because your mind missed the contemplation and reflection part. We are just talking about reasoning must match results into a conscious experience. Otherwise, just putting a logic, and for the sake of the logic, it doesn't work. We complete unpleasant or unrewarding task out of obligation to avoid legal or social punishment, while rewards motivate positive behavior. You see how Eastern wisdom analyzes this. We always say, uh, reward motivates the positive behavior. My mind is full of impurities. It gives the false logic, and I avoid it. I'm going to suffer. Take a simple example, paying taxes. Paying taxes is mandatory in most of the societies, and failure to do so can result in fines, even the jail time. So there is no reward for paying the taxes besides avoiding punishment. There is no reward. So when you practice in the beginning, or until the mind complains, just recognize it is the impurities of the mind. I have to do it. I have to do it, come what may. And if you have doing it, what is going to happen in that mind, that higher consciousness takes the shape of a seeker, and that seeker says, I'm not going to skip the practice at any time. We citizens in any country are required to follow all the laws. So we don't get any reward for following the laws. But if I follow the laws, I avoid lot of problems. That is the importance of doing the practice regularly. That is a way. We are talking of reasoning, knowledge plus experience should go together. Knowledge and understanding comes by reasoning, cause and effect relationship. That is what we are understanding. And if it does not result into an experience, it means mind is a doubt. Mind has no clarity. Take simple example, doing your dishes, laundry, cleaning. These are the things that have to be done. It is not rewarding. But if you don't clean your dishes for a week, then see what happens in your kitchen. Don't take a bath for about a week, then see what happens. You don't get any reward, but you are punished. So I have to examine when I'm searching the real self, I'm not looking for a reward. I'm looking that my reasoning should lead me to a right experience, a conscious awareness. Proxy is not possible in awakening. There is no role of proxy in awakening. Self-knowledge, or that pure consciousness, realization of the pure consciousness, it is an inner, it is a first-hand discovery of one's true nature. What is that true nature? It is consciousness. I am searching, when I say, who am I am searching that I am awareness. Proxy is not required. I'm obliged to do the practice. It is mandatory. I must contemplate and reflect. I must find out the time. We all are seekers, we have been doing for a couple of years. But if you don't find the time, mind will say, now I have found you. It will put a wrong logic and you are gone. Until you reach to a point where it is irreversible. Every day I lie down on the bed, mind says, are you ready? Yes. First time you simply go into meditation. You wake up in the morning, Mind reminds you. So we have to continue the journey, practice, regular practice and contemplation until the time comes the mind will remind you, your own mind, the mind that is complaining. That is another threshold you have crossed in the journey of the self-discovery. You have a passion for that real self. So what is happening when you have that passion? You are de-identifying from the body-mind complex, which the logic, false logic, has created. And ultimately, result is that I am pure consciousness. So this master says how answers the question of how we attain the self-knowledge by self-inquiry, guided practice, dissolving the obstacles of the doubt, misinterpretation, and improper interpretation by my mind of the teaching. Self-inquiry, contemplation and reflection, continued practice. One day we awaken to that. So that is what I said, systematic, regular study is required. So the next verse now is wants to know that we use one eye, but it represents two eye. One represents the real eye and the other represents the false eye. False eye, you can say reflected consciousness, you can say mind or I thought or ego, whatever you want to say. There are many names. It is also known as the individual consciousness. Let me give you a couple of metaphors to understand. This individual consciousness or the false I is like a turbulent ocean with the waves, whereas the real I is the still depths. It is present in deep inside the depth. The waves represent the restless ego mind, while the depth represent the silent witness. That is why we say meditation is a silent witness. It is an effortless. It is like another example. That ego sense or I thought is like a dusty mirror that reflects the distorted images, and the real I is the clean, pure mirror that can reflect things as they truly are. The dust represents the imperfections of the mind. What it means? I feel agitated, instantly become aware that hesitation is coming from any identification, and behind that, there is a pure consciousness. Always available. Always available. That false I is an actor on the stage playing different roles, identifies with them. And the real I is the audience, observing impartially without getting attached to any role. Pay attention. That is why we don't ask you judge what is happening in your inside and outside the world. We say discern. We don't say judge. So when you judge, you have a preferences of likes and dislikes, pain and the pleasure, profit and the loss. When you discern, you see both the likes and dislikes, pairs of opposites separate from you. Are you getting it? I believe so. That is why we have a great importance to discernment. I see the things as it is. So there is no judgment. In judgment, I like this, I don't like this. I have profit and I have lies, and a lot of other stuff is there. Lot of other stuff is there. I'm just preparing you for another verse, which is important. Do you remember the metaphor, infinite space? What we have discussed until now, keep that in your head. And with that, come back to the metaphor. What is the metaphor? Infinite space. Infinite space. Infinite space means there is no place where the space is not. So consciousness is like an infinite space, means there is no space, no location where the consciousness is not. What is this? This is my nature. I'm consciousness. But then, as an individual, there is an enclosed space. That is an individual consciousness. That is, huh? So he compares the four types of the space, and he says these four types of the space, out of the four, three do not exist. It has a false identity. When you break this false identity by reasoning for clarity, and it results into a conscious experience of one consciousness, all pervading. So the third one, first is the infinite consciousness, second is the part space, and third is in that part space, there is water space. What is that water space? I'm husband, I'm wife, I'm son, and I'm daughter, I'm rich and poor, I'm black and white. Identification. Hundreds and millions of identification. I'm tired. I'm relaxed. Yeah, anyhow, I'm relaxed. This is also an identification, but it serves my purpose. At least I'm not suffering. All our identification, I'm rich, poor, I lost money, I gained money, I'm looking smart, I'm looking this and that. Everything has to do with the water space. Ask yourself, is the water space is the real or the part space is real? Part space does not change. Water. You put the water, you put the coffee, you put anything, soft drink. So that water space, I fill myself into my mind. Why I fill myself into my mind? Because I don't know real self. So I have to work from somewhere. So I fill with myself. By thought, by feeling, by logic, by habit, by false assumption. The same way, on this infinite consciousness, superimposed is the entire world. That is the cloud space. Again, let us go a little deeper. In that water space is reflected the cloud space, the entire world. In my individual consciousness, I'm reflecting you all and the entire world. Are you getting it? You see that? So once we understand the metaphor, then we say, oh, there is only, intellectually now I know that there is only one consciousness. Intellectually, I know there is only one consciousness. So it means I know it, but I don't experience. Intellectually, there is a clarity. So it means I have to drop those false reasoning that comes to my mind, which prevents me to realize that there is one consciousness. Intellectually, I know. This is what the master says. This master says, compares the consciousness to four types of the space. Why? To illustrate its essential nature. Think of it. First is the infinite, one consciousness. Second is the enclosed consciousness. Third is the obscured. Fourth is the masked. The entire world, the moment I recognize this word, is a masked consciousness. The way I see the mirror is water. And that is what the master is saying. If one does not believe in one's experience, one is forced into an endless trail of logic, and we don't go anywhere. Then how is one by mere baseless reasoning going to know the truth with any certainty? Even in scientific experiment, we have cause and effect relationship. At a relative level, we find the relative truth in science. Here we want to know the absolute truth. So we should have an absolute logic. Relative logic will not work. Absolute logic. So experience snaps the trail of logic. This is what we have been covering for the last 3 weeks. It's very important that we should know how to put the logic. I did not do it because I learned it from the master, many masters. But normally there is a 3-year course on how to put the right logic. And then you start studying this. I also did not study that. But yes, you need not to go for that. Once you pick up this text and you start studying, you understand that how to put the logic. The first point is that solely relying on the logic and the reasoning is wrong. So I have to maintain my awareness. Do I rely solely on the logic, or that logic, that reasoning gives me an experience without validating it against my experience? Once you are clear of that, now let us move further. If one does not have a faith in their own experience of ignorance, what will happen? I will create a doubt in the teaching and reject the idea of the one consciousness. What it means? What did I say? Do you remember? I see you are different than me. There are a lot of people attending this session. There is a teacher, there is a seeker, there is a student. There are different colors. You see, multitude of colors, the shapes and the sizes and the people, mind and different temperament. In that multiplicity, can I recognize one consciousness? Should be my job of reasoning, not the other way. If that is true to your intellect, then you are a seeker. But at the same time, I see the reason alone is unreliable. Reason is a helper. If it results into a experience of one consciousness, reason is a barrier if it does the opposite. It acts both ways. It acts both ways. You are intelligent, you have studied hundreds of books. Perhaps you will win by putting a logic. My master used to say, logic, reasoning is like a prostitute. You feed more, it will come to you. You feed less, it will leave you. Now reverse this into your daily life. If any reasoning causes you anxiety, duality, conflict, that is why I stopped Sam. I have nothing to do with my friends. I have nothing to do with your parents. What I have to do with you. Perhaps you might have seen. not out of any reaction. It is important. I have to look myself. What is my passion? Self-discovery. It's very important to put the right logic. I've already explained you the way we put the logic. Oh, yes, tomorrow I have to pick up my friend at 6. So at 6, I do the practice of meditation. So once I return, I will do it. You return, and then your friend, you're staying in your house. Let us have a chat, and you forget it. So wrong logic makes you forget your real self. Wrong logic says you are wrong. You're always wrong. What is wrong in it? What do I want to know? Myself. Do I find myself in parents, in friends? No. Instantly let my mind return. Become aware. No, no, no. I'm not interested in any one of them. It goes to the supra-logical way of understanding and realizing what is. Our experience is like an ocean, vast, deep, full of treasures of the self-knowledge. I'm giving you another metaphor. You have to contemplate again and again. Our experience is like an ocean, vast, deep, full of treasures of self-knowledge. Our ignorance is like a murky water that obscures the ocean floor. Logic is like a filtration system that cleans and clears the water. It doesn't clean the ocean. Pay attention. What I said, our experience is like an ocean. Our ignorance is like a murky water that obscures the ocean floor. Here comes the reasoning is like a filtration system that cleans and clears the water. The intellect is like a submarine that drives into an ocean. Intellect and reasoning. Dismissing experience is like a submarine refusing to enter the water. Are you getting? Let me repeat it. I was thinking a lot, and then I said, this may work properly. If it doesn't work, tell me, I will give you another metaphor. Our experience is like an ocean. Ignorance is like a murky water that obscures the ocean floor, so I cannot see the ocean. I cannot know the nature of the ocean. Logic is like a filtration system, but it has to be used by the intellect, and intellect is submarine. And if the intellect does not go inside, dismissing experience is like a submarine refusing to enter the water. I refuse my experience. No, I'm the body and mind complex. I refuse it. I don't want to contemplate and reflect. You see, I don't want to contemplate. Then I miss it. Then I miss the real self. Who should listen to your bold talk, full of boredom? I have many other things to do. After an hour, you feel bored by yourself. And if you feel boredom by yourself, you can bore anyone. That is another level of ignorance. That is another layer of ignorance. People say, I feel bored, and that's why I called you. So if you have any of one of those friends, it's better to avoid that. Keep a distance. No, no, Sam is very close to me. Understand, my friend. Improper logic is the moment you put the improper logic, the mind is overwhelmed with the ignorance and you lose touch with the real I, you are done. You see only the muddy water. You don't see there is a treasure below. So our master says, this master says, true self-knowledge glitters like a gold on the ocean floor, waiting to be waiting to be discovered once the ignorance is filtered away. So that ignorance has to be filtered away by the intellect as a submarine. It has to dive deep inside. Let me sit completely. The moment you have an anxiety, let me sit. Eyes closed and find out where is the anxiety. Oh, this is the false I ego is working. Okay. And once you analyze them, that false I dissolves. What is left is pure consciousness. What is left is the infinite consciousness in this metaphor. Here and now. You need not to practice anything. That is the beauty of the journey of this journey by this master. It is our true self is like a, you can say, a bright lamp. It is ever shining with the light of awareness. It is consciousness. But this lamp has been packed in many boxes, one inside the other. Each box represents a layer of mistaken identity. I am this body, I am this mind, I am rich, I am poor, I am this and that. And that is causing you the anxiety, nationality, and belief. Now, to unpack and uncover the true self, there must be some system. How you unpack your gift. You, even if you are aware that there is a small box inside, but there is a glittering paper outside. Can you remove the small box first? That is what he's guiding. He says systematic, step-by-step approach. We need a step-by-step approach. That is what we are learning. To unpack and uncover the true self, we need to open each box sequentially. And this requires both experience and logic. You see, I'm talking about the real self, and I have been totally logical today. Dennis, how are you? Dennis used to ask a very important question along with one of his another friend, Sergey. No, science has always a logic. We also have a 200% logic. Are you ready to listen and understand? It has taken a couple of years to talk about this logic. Do you see that? Our experience of self-ignorance provides wrapped boxes to work with. Without having these boxes, we could never get to the lamp inside. Our experiences, moments of confusion about our identity, helps me to recognize that I'm living in ignorance and I have to remove the ignorance. Asatoma Satgamaya. What is Eastern wisdom? Lead me from the ignorance to the wisdom. I have to recognize that I'm living in ignorance. I normally don't recognize. So when I don't recognize, then I say, you are crazy, you are stupid. Fact is that I'm stupid. Fact is this, I'm stupid. Are you getting it? What I said? We brand everyone, you are crazy. Fact is that I'm crazy. So it needs a very subtle logic in the reasoning. Reasoning are like like the hammer and the crowbar needed to carefully open each box. We have to carefully open each box. If we simply throw away the boxes or accept them without opening, we will never see the lamp within. In this metaphor, I'm giving my own metaphor. Only by patiently analyzing our experiences can we peel away the layers of these false identity, and then what is left? What is left is the pure consciousness, is the true nature, is my real self. We experience that. So first you experience, and then you also experience so you have a simultaneous awareness. You have a false I that is working, that works, you are there and I'm here, the false I. But simultaneous awareness is there. The real I, it is only one. You experience that. This is what the master is saying. We'll pick up the next verse, the 30th verse. So he says, 30th verse, let me translate this verse. He says there is a superiority of experience over the logic. That is what we are looking for, isn't it? Superiority of experience over the logic. If reason is employed, then clarity in the intellect is expected. So, what do you mean by clarity? There is no doubt. You don't have a doubt that I'm crazy, for example. So if reason is employed, then clarity in the intellect is expected. Clarity means conviction. Conviction means freedom from the doubt. What is left? Your awareness. You experience that. So conviction in the intellect and experience here. Conviction in the intellect that you have the three boxes. I have to unpack it. You pack one by one. Now you have an experience of the bright lamp is there. This is what happens. If that is what is known as an awakening, or you can say self-knowledge or self-realization. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. Whatever I say, you have to apply the right logic. Without awareness, you cannot have a right logic. If awareness is not present, logic does not work. Huh? Any inert object cannot put the logic. Only the conscious entity, and that too who has an intellect, and that too whose intellect is free. No animals can put the right logic. Their intellect is guided and dictated by the impulsive desire. We can free ourselves from it. So when I say eyes are closed, you're comfortable, eyes are closed. Do I need any logic? No, but we don't need any logic, but we simply say that real self cannot be found by the sense organs in the mind. Mind goes out into the world through the sense organ. No sense organ can touch, see, objectify the real self. Finished. So do we have a clarity? What do you mean by clarity? Every thought has an image has a perception coming from the past. The past perception in images has something to do with the sense perception. You see, I put the right logic, so what it means. Now, any thought is coming, unwanted thought is coming, you hardly pay any attention. Why? Because you have a clarity. Because you have a conviction, whether a good thought and a bad thought. One guy was telling me, I got a lot of beautiful thoughts about my business. Should I keep it? Are you doing meditation or business? You lose awareness. So being, first I said, I put the right logic on. Closing your eyes means you shut off all your sense organs, means through your awareness. You are not forcing, you are simply aware, my friends. That awareness is separate. And then I say, being comfortable. I cannot do the inquiry when I'm not relaxed, I'm not calm. So being comfortable, and then I find through the logic, through the understanding, what it means by being comfortable. So you are listening and you are simply aware. That is enough. So being comfortable and becoming comfortable are two different things. When you are in anxiety, duality, and a conflict, never try to become comfortable. Don't make an effort. Leave all the effort. Who makes an effort? False I. False I caused you the anxiety, and false I wants to make an effort. That is the meaning. That is the clarity. Now check the mind. Is the mind doing anything? Whatever is happening is okay. Whatever is happening, thoughts are coming and going, let them come and go. That is happening. And are you doing anything? Are you trying to hold? No. You hold, you resist. You don't hold, you are simply aware. You are ready to unpack. Do you see? You're ready to unpack. I'm using the metaphor here. You're just aware. The intellect, clarity, conviction, and you have the experience. We don't have enough time to explain this being comfortable, especially in the beginning. But now we need to, it is required to explain based on this teaching. Being comfortable. So now I stress on being comfortable. Your experience, now you see, I give an experience. Sensation, comfort, steadiness. Now, with your logic, yes, intellect, you look at the body, feel the sensation. You are aware of being comfortable, and again go back. You are aware of being steadiness in the body. I believe you all remember. You have been patient enough doing these journey together for years. What did I say? I'm reminding you, stillness in the body. It is not stillness of the body. What is stillness in the body? It is the space. What is stillness of the body? It is the pertaining to the body. Body cannot be still. This house cannot remain forever. One day it falls down. What is left is the space. It is the stillness in the body. I'm talking of that sensation, comfort, and steadiness. It is not steadiness of the body. It's a relative steadiness. Your breath is moving, huh? Your blood is moving, blood circulation is taking place, a lot of functioning are taking place. Every minute, 50,000 cells are replaced by the new cells. So we are not talking of that steadiness. We are talking of the steadiness in the body, and that steadiness of the in the body is the steadiness of the consciousness. Why consciousness is all pervading? If it is all pervading, it has to be steady because there is no space to move. If the space is steady, it has no place to move. It is infinite. We need not to go to follow any other step. That is why we say It is natural. It is so-called natural, effortless journey. But we need to have an ability to reason, understand, I made it clear. Now, if I say and you see it with experience, sensation, yes, it is a false eye sensation I can experience in the body. Behind it, there is a consciousness. So when I say I experience the sensation, my friend, it is sensation plus consciousness. Oh, comfort plus consciousness. Comfort in the body, we accept it, but it is not one, it is two. That comfort, false eye. The false eye also helps us living our empirical life. So when we only say false does not mean that we reject it. We recognize it. And steadiness, I have already explained you, steadiness in the body or steadiness of the body. Now go to the being carefree. Carefree, put the logic. That is also the contemplation and reflection. Carefree, who cares me? Mind. Must we be clear that it is the mind that cares. How the mind cares? By feeling, by emotion, by thought. Ultimately by thought. But if the thought is wrong, it is perceiving, it has a false perception, then how it can carry you? Oh, that is right. I always, we can say that normally I have a false perception about people, situation, thing, relationship in the world. Yes, I have it. I cannot ignore it. So I'm living in ignorance. So once I recognize that I'm living in ignorance, what should I do? So I leave these thoughts coming and going. I see that I'm separate from all these thoughts. That is what is being carefree. Carefree does not need any effort to do that. Do you remember I have been telling you with a metaphor that you are standing across the road watching the traffic? That standing across the road is the real self. And the traffic moving there is the false side, including the thought. What happens? Body becomes so much stiff. You feel because the mind is moving within, you're becoming carefree. Not always, but normally it happens in the beginning. You feel as if the body has become freezing steady or warm. Freezing means what? Mind is not interested in the body. No identification. You experience that. Only thing that you don't recognize. And then the mind becomes carefree. So now again, being carefree. It is not becoming carefree. You cannot say to the mind, now I will become carefree, because that is also an effort. So this is the trick of the wrong logic, improper logic. The fact is that in the field of awareness, you don't allow that false I to take the shape and say that I will do something. No, I'm not doing anything. You maintain that state. Being carefree deep inside is what we are searching for. In the second metaphor, I said it is unpacked box. Being carefree at the outside and real self inside. Another reason why Master says the mind should be purified so it directly puts the right logic step by step before clarity and conviction. And what happens then? You have a realization, you have an experience. It is exactly like GPS. You put your address, your home address, and you drive and you reach there. You park your car, you are in your house. You need not to say you whether you experience or not. You are there. That is your experience. So when you do the practice, listen and practice, keep another half an hour window. And if you live into that state, continue to live into that state for another half an hour of extension and see what happens. You'll discover a lot of impurities return and it pushes you back. And sometimes you live into that state. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. If you have any question, you are free to ask. I'll try to answer that. How are you, David?
Good morning. Thank you. I would describe that as a profound session and your message about stillness and letting go. So I spent the entire meditation focusing on stillness, and I didn't block the thoughts. I just let them come and let them go. And soon it was like I was above them all, and it was just like a river in the background of flowing things, and there was no attachment to it. So my mind was extremely still during the meditation.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's the, yeah. In the end, that I gave that two messages. It is the stillness in the body. Anything can be still only if it is all pervading. It is only all pervading because there is no place to move. And that is the consciousness. It's a beautiful understanding. No doubt it is a profound, my master used to say, it's very profound. So we have to repeat, contemplate, and repeat until we reach to that state. How are you, Stephen?
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, sir.
It was the lesson for me. The major takeaway is that you get the result. You always have to put the work in. And with that being said, it led my meditation with my eyes closed of being able to truly lean into the stillness within. And it was just a moment of being so self-absorbed and timeless.
Yeah, that's another way to say if you remain self absorbed. In the very beginning, I said there is no proxy. So if I'm self absorbed, it means the mind is now a helper to me. So it means I should devote, if possible, more time in contemplation and reflection to reach to that state. Or even if I mind pays an obstacle, I still have to devote time. In both ways, it is possible. How are you, Jerry? Beautiful.
Sir, I'm good, thank you. I loved the lesson today. It's like with the years that we've been practicing together and studying, we know, we know, but do we experience it? And so do we see the murky water? Do we see if we're chasing something or resisting something, blaming or complaining? Because if we are, then we're not, we don't know.
Yeah,
But
we
we
are
know.
in ignorance.
So it's an opportunity, right? Then we know that we're living in ignorance. And so it's just when we are aware of the murkiness, that's great. And then are we aware of the treasure, the wisdom, the stuff that's always there, never changing, the gold? And it's great. Thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. It is self explanatory. It's a beautiful way. I have to recognize that it is a murky water. And in cases when I get identified with the murky water. That is what I used to say. I think I used the word intellectual paralysis, intellectual fantasy. Then I fall into intellectual fantasy. So there is self inquiry is required, a right logic is required. Yes, my friends, how are you, Samir?
Sir, lesson was full of logic. Means everything was according to, it's like question and answer. That
Yes, dry logic.
if you want to know this, this is the
Yes, you got it.
and meditation was very smooth, full of enjoyment, and very short.
Yeah, very good. You see that? Full of logic. So full of logic results into an experience. If it is full of logic, does not result into an experience, it means I have put the wrong logic. So we have to live into that state. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good, thanks. I appreciate the reminder about the proxy that nobody else can do this for us. Nobody else can do the journey and the seeking for us.
Beautiful. You see, I hit a very soft spot of the impurities of different people. So everyone comes out with their own experiences. Beautiful. That is really good. That proxy, we cannot have any proxy for peace and happiness. We can have a proxy for a lot of other stuff in the world. How are you, Janice?
Thank you for a deeper explanation of logic and reasoning and how it relates to the Eastern wisdom. And there's one thing, not really a question, but the like the statement that I have came up with in the course of my contemplation and reflections, and I just wanted to run it by you to see if it is valid. So there are base assumptions for any kind of logic or reasoning, and if these base assumptions are false, then the logic built on this false premises is also false.
Beautiful.
But if the assumption is true, and there is only one assumption that is true, that I am the real self. So if I start my logic with this one and only one that is true assumption and premises, then the resulting logic and everything that is built on top of that logic is true.
Beautiful way of understanding. You see, that is how we have to understand logic. Why we put the logic, how we put the logic, where the logic should come to an end. You can reverse this. Let us assume that false I is real, and ultimately you prove it to be false. That's another way. So you start with an assumption. That is why you see that since the beginning, we start with an assumption that there is a false I and there is a real I. You see? So there we could not talk of very tough reasoning. But as we progress and we have variety of experiences we talk of, now we can definitely talk what Dennis has explained. You have to listen to what Dennis says. Beautiful. Dennis has explained again and again with clarity. So how are you, Terry?
The meditation part was very, very deep,
Very good.
and without like thought. So
Beautiful.
the thought to articulate the thought is like I'm backing out of where I want to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
One thing. Yeah. Go ahead.
I can't do it.
You need not to do it. You are real self.
Yeah.
You are real self.
I feel close to that. So it's
Yes.
hard to talk about thought.
Good. That's really good way to put it. You are real self. You see that? There are two ways of explaining. One, I got another simile of this. There is a well, and you fall into the well. So that means you fall into unconsciousness, and it happens by itself. That is the way the nature of ignorance is. Or you step into the well. Two different things. You fall into the well or you step into the well. I'm again putting a logic. So you take a step by step and then you reach to the water or you fall into the well. Survival chances of survival are, means the ignorance takes over too much. How are you, Sam?
I'm good. Thinking a lot about triangles lately. One
Thinking about?
triangles.
I did not talk about the triangle in this session.
Yeah, but that's what I'm thinking about, and in putting
Then you are
together.
not attending the session.
Yeah, I attended. I've been thinking about thought, speech, and action, and how our our thoughts, speeches, and actions need to align. And in reflecting on this lesson, the important part is last time when I gave my reflection, um, it was there was a lot of speaking, like there's this time because I'm trying to explain, but I realized that what's important is that you show in your actions that you're in peace. Then people will know you're at peace when you are not, when you're showing peace instead of when you're saying it.
You are a great master.
Oh, get out of here. You are.
You have started teaching all of us. That is really good. But you lacked awareness of what is being taught and what you heard. You did not hear anything what I said. You heard everything what your mind said to you. So you have to contemplate which one is right. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. Sir, mind was calm, practice was smooth, was good. The understanding was like that as in logic is my ability. So if I am not able to see a situation freely, then I'm putting a wrong logic to see that situation.
Beautiful.
And if I see that situation freely, then my logic is correct. So
what we say in Eastern wisdom that you put the logic in your experience, your anxiety, your duality, and your conflict, it is the wrong logic. You start with that premise, as the Dennis said. Huh? As Jerry concluded, except the Sam. Sam is an exception. So you see that is where the problem comes. That is why our master says, when we start with the Gita, it says we are not worthy of suffering. And still we are suffering. I have no issue. In fact, I enjoy. We have one great Sam in every session, in every group session. And that gives a lot of clarity. That makes you aware that what I should do and what I should not do. I should not speak too much. Otherwise, Jerry knows what happened. One of the incident. Okay, that is all. Thank you.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.